One final match in round 2. I click free battle again. Let's go. We are going to a Coliseum we haven't been to yet. 3 Coliseums left for that. Neon, Magma, and Stargazer. And the randomizer gave us Neon Coliseum for the final match in round 2. A match involving 2 people that lost in the previous round. Misty and Chobin. Now what we know is that if Chobin wins this fight, Damien makes it to the top 8. If Chobin wins the fight, Damien will reach the top 8. In addition, if Chobin wins the fight, Misty is knocked out. If Misty wins the fight, Chobin still has a very small chance. It's very small, but it's there. Because then Chobin has to win the next fight, and then Flash has to lose their next fight, and Misty has to lose their next fight, and then Chobin has to win on tiebreakers. But for now, they just want to win because they want to get to the next round. Because losing here would be bad. If Misty loses, she's out. If Chobin loses, he's very likely out. And you just don't want to be out. You want to continue in the tournament. I have to be a neutral host, but I'm not going to be a neutral host. Go Chobin! Chobin attack! Roar!
Illuminated by the beautiful neon light, an exciting battle is about
Go Chobin! Chobin is Dr. Kaminko's #1 assistant. Chobin is also Dr. Kaminko's only assistant, therefore making him the #1 assistant. Anyone know the reference behind Chobin and his team? It's a different kind of reference than Van Grant's in his team. But it's definitely the ooh, Leaf Blade on a water ground type. That's big. Sent you the outcomes in a PM on Discord. Okay, I'll read it after this match. Pretty nice start for Chobin. Especially the grass move on the Quagsire. Ninjask already won. Wait, what button did I press? That button would have been shift. Yeah, I don't want to shift. I just want to press other buttons. Just press the arrow keys. I just need to select Metronome, which is always the up, and then select the Pokemon themselves. That's up, left, right, down, in that order. Okay. Yeah, it has Water Absorb. Some of the Pokemon actually don't have that useful ability, like a Lantern on Misty's team, because this team is actually based on Misty's team, Misty's, I think, rematch team, Heart Gold Soul Silver, I want to say. And in that, the Lantern has the Illuminate ability, which is useless in battle, while it could have also had Volt Absorb, because it was themed after Misty's team in Heart Gold Soul Silver. I did give them exactly those abilities. I assume I did the same with Chobin. If it's not based on an exact in-game team, then I just choose what I feel is competitively most viable. Another water. You did so much work with Leaf Blade. Now you hit it with Water Move twice. I think you would have learned Ninjask. Just leave him to Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime will deal with him. Mr. Mime, use Magical Leaf. Pretty sure you can normally learn Magical Leaf. Horn Drill. Unfortunately, that missed. That would have been really cool to see one RKO move hit. It's already rare to see, and then to have it hit is just 30% chance. They're all equal levels, so it'll stay at 30%. Ninja's Power Trick attack and defense swap, so it has better defenses now, because normally its attack is better than its defense. It's very frail. Lock on for Mr. Mime on Starmie, so that next move will hit. You're gonna try Horn Drill again. You're gonna try Zap Cannon. Luster Purge, good move. That's Latios' signature move. We've seen both Latios and Latios' moves already. Luster Purge and Mist Ball.
Ninja starts to attack. It hit 2 Pokemon at once. That dealt some damage too. Its speed fell.
Chobin would have liked the lock on before the 1-IQ move. Yeah, I did the wrong order. Oh, we have a fake Mr. Mime on the field now. Mime, 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 mime!
Holding in the Coliseum.
And interestingly, both the Mr. Mime and the fake Mr. Mime are female. Vital Throw. Well, that's against a Psychic type, so not going to deal that much damage.
But this is not a favorable matchup.
You should know, you're that Psychic type. The only difference is the HP stat. That doesn't change. Karate Chop, that doesn't work because that's on a Psychic type. You should know because that's basically you, because you're the faker here. Starmie's woken up again. Let's see what Starmie does. Smog doesn't work. Ninjas keeps upping its speed. So pretty sure that's max speed for Ninjas now. Is he going to make use of that? I don't think Electro Ball exists in this gen yet. I think Electro Ball's introduced in Gen 5. So I can't really make use of that. Watch it use Gyro Ball now. That would be no damage. Scratch. Sleep Powder, that misses. Interesting animation, don't see that too often.
Mood in the Coliseum has become somewhat unsettling.
We normally just see its special attack, like the non-contact animation where it just jumps up and the back star turns.
Starts to attack. A smashing blow.
Tickle, 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 tickle. Fake Mr. Mime tickles real Mr. Mime. Its stab and Fury Cutter isn't that much, yeah. This generation is still just a base power of 10. Gen 5 it's 20, and then Gen 6 onwards it starts at 40. So then you might actually consider using it competitively. Critical hit, normal hit. A lot more of that spinning animation and from different angles too, so that'll actually look pretty cool.
The air in the Coliseum is tense.
Psycho Cut! It's against 2 Psychic types, so that's not going to deal too much. Also, you lowered your own attack by using Power Check earlier. Give you a bit more physical defense, but... Also, there still hasn't been a takeout. And there hasn't been a rest and wish thing. Also, I never started the timer. Okay, I'll just close the timer because I'm not going to start it up now. I'm already going to put down question mark for the time and figure it out during editing. Ooh, poison Mr. Mime. It's on a timer now. It's already a pretty low HP. Not the first status effect. Because Stormy's been asleep already. Speaking of sleep, I'm tired. More reason to not edit and upload a video after this. Also, unlike the last time, I'm not going to end with the game use your words. Not only did the stream start a bit later, the talks in between, before and after the matches took longer than I expected. Also, the matches on average have been taking a lot longer. No matches under 20 minutes. We had the 42-minute match between Matt and Darren. So, we're not going to end it off with a game use your words. Quite possibly next time. I did like that. I think it will start maybe a bit earlier on in the day. Maybe what I'll do is see if I can plan it that I play 4 matches and then have dinner and then 4 matches. Although, in both streams so far, I've done all 8 matches. But I never, at the beginning, planned to always have those matches. Meanwhile, first stakeout here, Mr. Mime on Chobin's side being down. It was never my intention to always do all 8 matches in one stream. It was just like, I'll try 4, maybe 3, maybe 4, and then if I can do more, that's nice. And that was the same for 2 days ago and for today. Like, if I wouldn't have made it, I would have just cut it off, but having a stream like this is a good stream length, and I do like to watch these Metronome Battles. I definitely don't want to do more than 8, because it does get tiring after a while. I wouldn't say boring. It's for lack of a better term, you could say boring, but it's still very interesting and fun. But I'd want to do and see something else after 8 matches. Especially if it's late, if it's already past midnight, which it is now for me. Cross chop. Strong move, but resisted by Starmie. Beat up, a little bit of damage for 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The 5th Pokemon dealing a pretty good hit. So what's the 5th Pokemon? Floatzel. Floatzel is a pretty good physical attack. Show me you need to make some moves, because Ninjask is almost down. You don't want to be 6-4 behind. You want to win, Chobin. Let's go. Beat Misty. Misty and her Mr. Mime. Feather Dance now lowering the attack of Ninjask. It was already lowered on the Mr. Mime quite a few turns ago. Now it's lowered on Ninjask. Here comes Dragonite. From Cross Chop to Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade was already using that slot before, but this time that Pokemon isn't weak to it. That Pokemon would have been defeated if Ninjask wouldn't have used 2 water moves in a row on that Quagsire when it still had Water Absorb as the ability. High jump kick from Starmie misses, so recoil damage is half of what it would have dealt. Both resisted. Dragonite, normal resistance, Ninjask the 4 times resistance, so the recoil was never going to be that much. Lucky for Starmie. Bide. Yeah, that's not great when you're at low health. So it's either gonna not do much, or you're just gonna not move and be defeated. X is on Dragonite. The flying type makes it resisted. But was the Feather Dance used on the original Mr. Mime before or after the transform? Because if it was before the transform, then the fake Mr. Mime also has that attack rope. Crush Claw, check out the Starmie. That Dragonite using Cross Chop, Leaf Blade, Crush Claw, 3 strong physical moves. Keep that up. Chobin will be happy with it.
Well, both corners still have a chance to win this.
There's Lapras.
What can we expect to see next?
Ninjask is still storing energy, but won't be dealing much damage. Doesn't have priority, but will still go first because Ninjask is just that quick. No targets on Ninjask because Ninjask isn't moving anyway, so it makes sense that they're going for Dragonite for now. Dragonite's the more threatening. Speed up though doesn't work because it hasn't stockpiled. There goes Dragonite's streak of using strong physical moves. Lapras Fire Spin on Dragonite. They would have taken on Ninjask, but it's probably still better on Dragonite. Bit of damage now than residual damage between turns. But can you really say it's residual damage when that residual damage is more than the initial damage? Because normally residual means something big has happened and then just little things happening after that. Like major damage from a move and then just little bits in between turns after that. But the bits of damage actually do more, which we've actually seen quite a few times in this tournament with things like Sand Tomb and Whirlpool as well. Clamp. Aqua Tail. There goes Ninjask. No, not. But Ninjask, I think, already unleashed their energy, so it actually won't counter that for not so much damage. Gets the ominous win, and Mr. Mime doesn't get the boosts. It doesn't. But Mr. Mime is down, so Chobin actually takes the lead because somehow Ninja survived the Aqua Tail. But it does have its defense stat as the attack stat. Wake Up Slap with 4 times resisted, but does it have enough HP? It does not. But still, it took 2 hits to take a really low HP Ninjask out, so Chobin won't be too dissatisfied with that. Dragonite takes a bit of damage from Fire Spin. Score is 4-4. Chobin sends up Marowak. And on Misty's side, we have Lantern. Now, if an electric move is used on Lantern, that should work, because it should have Illuminate as the ability. Yes, it does. Ooh! Spatial Rend with Stab. Again, Spit Up doesn't work, but you weren't there to see it, I guess. Seen Stockpile, but I haven't seen Stockpile into either Spit Up or Swallow yet. Flash Cannon, decent hit on Dragonite. See what Marowak's first move is. Marowak going with a very good move, something Chobin will be very satisfied with. Because now, Lapras and Lantern, no, Misty, because I learned from somewhere in round 1, Imprison affects the player, it doesn't affect the Pokemon. So Pokemon and Misty side are not able to use moves that Marowak knows. Marowak knows Metronome, therefore Misty can't use Metronome, so they'll use Struggle, so they will actually be dealing damage, but it's not that strong of a move. Like it's still decent with 50 base power physical. But they'll lose 25% of their health, of their max health, as recoil. So Lantern can only take 2 such hits. Become Struggle. They're both bit better at special attacks than physical attacks. So if you see this on, let's say, Rampardos, the Struggle could still do quite a lot of damage, and the recoil will be the same, 25% off max HP. But if you see this on things that are really good at special attacks but horrible at physical attacks, then you don't have to be afraid of it. You'd love to see an opposing Blissey Struggle, because Blissey's best stat is HP, and that way it loses a lot of that best stat. Lock on Lapras. Let's see what Marowak wants to do next turn. Is he going for Zap Can or is he going for a Constrict? Metronome. Bug Bite. That takes Lapras's Leper Berry. That's plus 10 power points to the max of 16 on Dragonite's Metronome. Lantern using Struggle, bit more damage on Dragonite. Is Mara going for one KO move? That would be cool. All 4 can work on Lapras. That would be a really cool combo. You're going to see it after Lapras uses Struggle on Dragonite too. The Dragonite's being ganged upon, but it survives the turn. Lots of recoil damage on Lapras and Lantern. Marowak, lock on into Fury Attack. And it missed! We learned something! Lock on only seems to work on the actual move that you select. Because otherwise it should have worked. Actually, no. They locked on onto Lapras. Maybe Fury Cutter would have always hit if Fury Attack, or Fury Attacker would have targeted Lapras. But that Fury Attack might have actually targeted the Lantern. In which case the lock-on wouldn't have had an effect anyway. Alright. Dragonite, target Lapras. Lantern will take itself out. That's the 1 KO move. That one missed. That would have just been cool to see. Struggle on Marowak, but Marowak has good physical defense, so that won't be that much damage. And that will be a Lantern gone. That's a 4-3 lead for Chobin. I don't mind that at all, because I really like Chobin. Dragonite's down though. Ties up again at 3-3. A lot can happen. But Lapras also takes itself out, making it 3-2. It did go for Lantern the Fury attack. If you're certain that 100% that lock-on works even on a move called by another move, then the target would have indeed been Lantern, because the lock-on was on Lapras. Fury attack, Fury swipes. Unfortunately, that doesn't work if there are no Pokemon to attack. I think something that Chobin would not mind seeing right now is Explosion, because that just means Chobin wins. Misty would hate to see Explosion, because that means she's out of the tournament. She'd still play in round 3 against Damien, but she wouldn't be able to participate anymore. I think I've said it before, but in terms of oh yeah, Imprison still affects them. It takes long. Don't forget self-destruct. Yeah. Imprison affects the player, not the Pokemon, so the struggle continues. 50 power, physical move, typeless, 25% of recoil. That Imprison is one of the best moves, if not the best move that exists. This Taunt affects one Pokemon, Disable affects one Pokemon, Torment affects one Pokemon, Imprison affects 2, and then if something faints and a new thing comes in, it affects them as well. Misty at this point just wants to see Imprison go away. Or Marowak faint, that might cancel it, I'm not sure. Drain Punch, just a bit of damage, and just some healing on Marowak's side. Making it even take longer to take out. Looking good for Chobin. Thing is, Chobin, if he wins, has a decent chance of making it through to the next round, but he will have to... If we don't assume that ties will happen, it has happened once in Auka's match. But assuming ties don't happen, Chobin has to beat Flash next round. It'll be Chobin v Flash to decide who's in the next round. Similar to how it'll be Matt versus GameScorp in Group C. Floatzel's down. 2v1 scenario with a free one in the back, so even if there's an explosion on the field now, Chobin wins. And they're still struggling. Chobin with that huge Imprison. Flash, toying with Misty a bit, I suppose. Misty must really dislike the situation, only because she's been struggling for so long and still has to. How long does Imprison last? Is that between a certain amount of turns? Normally it's not that huge, but in this it is. Remember how I said that Imprison is potentially the best move in the tournament? So Taunt lasts like 4 turns and Disable like between 4 and 7. Imprison, as long as the Pokemon that used the move stays on the field, it's permanent. So unless Marowak kills itself, Misty's Pokemon have to stay struggling permanently. I think I didn't realize that because the last time we saw Imprison, it was near the end of a match, closer than when this one was used. So then it was like 4 turns of struggle anyway, and then the match was over, something like that. And then I thought, maybe it just takes 4 turns. It's permanent. Yes! Yeah, make Milotic take itself up, make Misty feel even worse. Okay, Imprison for best move in Metronome fights. In Gen 4 anyway, because there's a lot more moves in later gens, but I currently vote Imprison for best move. Especially if you're a high HP Pokemon, just barriers, making sure it survives. Because Melodic will move before Marowak, so Melodic can't take out Marowak. Only Kangaskhan now can take out Marowak to make sure Melodic doesn't take itself out. Kangaskhan would have to use Surf or something like that. Make Melodic resist it and just survive, yet hit Marowak hard enough. This is such an unlikely scenario that Melodic's going to survive this turn. And if Kangaskhan doesn't take a Melodic here, it's going to struggle itself down. Rock Throw, is it enough? Does take Melodic out of its misery. Does take out Melodic. Take Melodic out of the misery, no doubt. Misty out of options, out of the tournament. 4 Pokemon remaining. She saw Imprison on the opponent's field on a Pokemon with almost full health. And that was also something with high defenses. Imprison is huge. If Imprison is seen early on in a match by something with high HP, that could seal the deal really early. If that happens in the finals of the tournament, because I'm not going to make it 2 out of 3. It's going to be 1 match all the time. Right, that's 3-0 win for Chobin. 3-0 win for Chobin because he still had, is it Scizor in the back, I believe. I can actually check, because it's based on a real life team. Or real life team on a video game team. Marowak, Executor, yeah, Scizor. Scizor was still remaining. So that happened. I'm going to enter that score, a 3-0 win for Chobin. And with that, I can now sort of look a little bit retrospectively at what we've seen so far and look a little bit towards the future. 2 people out of 16 are certain they're in the next round. Not certain yet if they'll be first or second in the group, but they're certain to be in the next round. 2 people are certain to be knocked out. Let's see, Group A, Akko, Green, August, Jeff, Random, all have 1 win and 1 loss. I think that's the most interesting group. Not only because winners didn't face winners from round 1, but also because the winners lost and the losers won. All with 1 win and 1 loss. Whoever wins in round 3 moves on. That goes for both matches. In that sense, Group A, super exciting. Group B, Kimono, Rens, Vangrance, and Auke. Kimono is through. Actually, so that makes it 3 people. 3 players that are through to the next round. Because Kimono is certain of it as well due to the tie that Vangrance had against Auke. Kimono is through to the next round no matter what happens in her match against Vangrance. Rens is likely to go through. Rens has to. If Rens wins, he's through. If Vangrance and Auke both lose, Rens is through. If Vangrance and Auke both tie, which means both matches end in the tie, Rens is through. Vangrance and Auke, they're not against each other anymore. They have to win while Rens loses. Now Auke is against Rens. If Auke beats Rens, he beats him in the standings. But then, if Vangrance also wins, it's still a tiebreaker. And currently, Vangrance is a better tiebreaker than Auke does. So those points they get in that win are important. If Rens wins against Auke, and that'll be the second match, the other match doesn't matter. But if Auke beats Rens, stuff could still happen. Group C, Darid, Matt, GameScorp, Claudia. Darid's through to the next round already, that's certain. Claudia is out, and they'll be facing each other pretty much for honor. Claudia for honor, they could still be 3rd in the tournament, 3rd in the group. That would be nice, they probably want to win. Darid wins no matter what, but they can make it certain that they win by beating Claudia. They'll both give it their all. And it's Matt versus GameScorp to find out who the second person will be to go through to the next group. With the potential, if Darid loses, that person between Matt and GameScorp actually wins in their group. The final group, let's actually rephrase this. Damien, Flash, Misty, and Chobin. Damien's through. Misty is not. And it's Chobin v Flash to decide who will be the second person to go through. If all matches from Group A tie, what will happen? Then we look at tiebreakers, and then Akko and Green would move on. Because they have the better tiebreaker. Akko lost 1-0, so that's -1, but then they won 4-0, which is +4. Put them together, +3 score. Green had a 3-0 win and a 3-0 loss, putting them at 0. Akko's GF has a -1 score, and Random has a -2. So if they all would tie, Akko and Green would be the ones to move on. Also, let's look at your thing. So if my outcomes are, I win my match versus Matt. If that happens, the outcome of Darrett v Claudia will only matter for seeding, which most likely will be Darrett first, me second. Yes, because if Darrett wins, then he's first, you're second. If Darrett loses, then it depends on the tiebreaker score. But currently Darrett has +5 and you have -2, so it'll have to be a big loss for Darrett and a big win for you. Like it has to be an average. Like one of them has to be 4-0, one of them has to be 3-0 for you to be equal on points there. But it's very likely that Darrett will be first. My match between me and Matt ends in a tie. This will result in a tiebreak, and I have no idea how that will be decided. Darrett will remain sole first in the group. Outcome will matter between Darrett v Claudia. Yes. Matt has the better tiebreaker over you. So if Matt versus GameScorp is a tie, Matt would be the second one to go through in your group. If you lose versus Matt, if that happens, my tournament days are over, and the outcome versus Darrett v Claudia won't affect this outcome. Correct. Yep. If you win, you make it to the next round, and then, although unlikely, still possible to be third, but likely you'll be seeded second, which means you'll face the winner from Group C, which is likely to be Darrett. Likely, not certain. I mean, no, Darrett is in your group. Damien. I mean, if you tie, you're out. If you lose, you're out. You have to win. That's how it is. Alright, thank you very much everyone for watching. Scorpio for being there the entire time. Akko was there for pretty much the entire time. Darrett was there for a bit. Sour Duck was there for the good, I think for about the first half. I found it very fun. We had some very cool matches. We had the first tie. We had some comebacks, mostly near comebacks. And then the explosion at the end, and Alga v Van Grants, which makes for a very interesting scenario in that Group B. And then Group A, I think, is the most interesting, where both matches are just if you win, you move on. It doesn't matter what any other match does. In terms of me, with the permutations of who moves on, Group B is the most interesting because of the tie. We're all gonna find out next time how that is all how that all changes.